All right. So let's get started, guys. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks a lot for very patiently waiting for all this while. Show most patience. Waiting for so long for the day. I'm sure you didn't wait for my talk for 100%. But there should be a reason you should also wait. And I'm trying to do the best that I can so that you get will make really sense in your lives. So with no further ado, I'll get started into the actual topic. Let's start with the cycle of life, where today we start with an average age of around 70, 80 years, little more of an age, then coming down to about late 60s or 70 years, then to the fantastic age of 40, 50 years, and then to the place where you actually get married with probably your lover or at least a person who your parents have seen. Then you move on to the life where you're actually hitting your finished school of teenage and then into the schooling and then the baby where you actually started. If this is called the cycle of life, now let's talk about the cycle of technology. Now it's been quite a time that people are talking about technology in the market. And if I don't start talking about technology with AI, that will be the biggest crime in the market today. So that makes my first step into technology and then moving on to the technology in the next step, which is cloud computing. And then happens the virtualization, which then led us into the actual data centers, which eventually moved into the personal computers, and then the CPU system, and probably the crux, which is the motherboard. Now, a loud yes or a no. Does anybody here feel that this cycle of technology and the previous cycle of life is not right? Does anybody think something is not right here? Oh, you feel it? Man, I was hoping you will not say anything. So you really feel something was wrong all this while? Oh, you felt it? So let's also correct it right away. So this is the cycle of life that you just saw some time back. Is that correct? I did not tamper it. It is the same thing. Now let's correct it right this moment itself. It is actually going to start by a newborn, which we all know for sure. We all know that we started our life being a baby first. Then is the cycle when we went to school. I'm not talking about the recent Little Hearts movie school and all. I am talking about a legit school education, guys. And then happens to our favorite teenage. I think most of you guys are here probably crossing your teenage or hitting your teenage completion. And that is probably when you start meeting the best of your life, plan for a family, and you get married. As happy as it looks, just in some time, you then become closer to the age of 40s and 50s. If you look at me like this in angle, you probably will not. But 40, 50 is that age when you look at people from side angle with tummy coming out like this. Then people like most of us, we realize and we say, no, side profile acha nahi hai mera ka. I will stand like this and talk so nobody sees my tummy. While you are becoming so happy, eventually you get into the age of late 50s and 60s, and then to the age of 80s and 90s if you really happen to be very healthy, and that makes the actual cycle of life. Is the correction correct now? Perfect. Do you also realize that the cycle of technology was also wrong? This is where people are literal not clear, right? You're not very confident that it actually is wrong. So let me present what I showed you previously. This is what I showed. So I said, what a technology if I don't start with AI. And andike AI first petty and then I started about. But this is wrong. I am telling you that is wrong. The right cycle of technology starts with the motherboard. I am very confident in telling that a lot of people today do not understand what technology is. And the reason is because you don't understand what motherboard is. You don't understand where to start when you talk about a technology. The first, the first set and generation of engineers, probably you started in late 80s or 90s, are very strong in technology. The only reason is because they understand the crux of it, which is the motherboard. And then they moved into the evaluation of personal computers, understanding how a CPU is made, how a personal computer is built. Then they also saw the time frame where they were talking about data centers. And then they evolved into virtualization, where one system can be used as multiple by having a layer of ESXi. And then they also spoke about cloud computing. And now today, we are talking about AI. This is the right cycle of technology. Most of the people do not understand that. You know why? Because AI is fancy. Today you open YouTube, if because considering you're all students, YouTube open చేసిన వెంటనే ads వస్తే skip కొడతాం కదా, right? There is a famous advertisement. In fact, there are multiple advertisements which says when you open an ad, are you still doing your CV using Word document? Are you spending 1 hour in preparing a PDF? Use this AI tool. Guys, that is product marketing for your information. They are trying to put you in a wrong track. As one of the famous speakers on the same stage, Mr. Oberoi also spoke about it. JP sir spoke about it. We were on purpose tuned to miss the basics. We were always told to be up to the mark, but they never told that you should understand the basics first. The cycle was never told to us in the right way on a reason. I saw a recent video about ChatGPT, where when you go ask a ChatGPT machine that what should I do so that people will never grow in their minds, and the ChatGPT very honestly says that this is a tricky question, but to be honest, these are the things that you should try doing to make people dumb. Very simple answer. You know what it said? Get them addicted to things, get them infatuated to stuff, get them into the social media things, and which most famously in the movie terms told as entertainment, entertainment, entertainment. And once you're into that part, AI happens to be one of it, and nobody understood that we are not doing things in the right direction. Andaram anukuntunnam that yes, I am learning the right stuff. No. Today people talk and write in your CVs that I know C, C++, data analytics, ML, NLP, AI, Python, Anaconda, and all of it. But do you even understand that writing so much doesn't get you a job? What makes you get a job is to understand the basics of it. If so far, whatever we have understood is clear, I am considering you understood the cycles were wrong and we corrected it together. We will now move to the next stage and my favorite portion, which is going to be talking about this image. Do you guys know what this is? Is there a name that rings when you see this? Gandhi ji ke teen bandar? Correct. So what does it say? Bura mat dekhna, bura mat sunna, aur bura mat bolna. I am not against Gandhi and I am not against the principles of Gandhi here. But what I feel is, instead of telling what not to be done, I think he should have smartly said what to be done. ज़्यादा अच्छा रहता, बेहतर होता अपने सोसाइटी के लिए. Which is why I think the monkeys has to be like this. कि मेरे को देखने दो भाई, मेरे को सुनने दो भाई, मेरे को बोलने भी दो भाई. Now, the reason I want the monkeys to be saying what to listen, what to see, and what to hear is to understand where we are heading and how do we actually have to be in your life. So that brings me to tell you a little understanding and the right sequence of heading your life. First is your attitude, guys. People think it's not the attitude thing. I can learn some stuff. I can still live. I can probably use my dad's money, or I can do some gambling, get my business set up. Nahi hoga. All that is not possible. If you have a right attitude, trust me, it will take you places. The next important thing is in your life is to listen. You first have to listen. నువ్వు ముందు విను తర్వాత మాట్లాడు అంటారు కదా, ఇదే అది ఇంగ్లీష్లో. You should have great attitude. You should have the art of listening very importantly. And then comes talking. ముందు విను తర్వాత మాట్లాడు అన్నారు కదా, సో మాట్లాడాలి. You have great attitude. You have the great listening skills. If you cannot talk, there is no point. Then comes the most important aspect, which is networking. Gone are the days when your net worth, NETWORTH, is equals to the amount of money that you earn or assets that you accumulate. Gaya wo zamana. Today, your net worth is equals to the network that you build. Money sub automatic aayega. If you cannot network, which is going to be very difficult for you. And then, in my opinion, comes the last one, which is skill set. You know why skill set is last? I have done a couple of workshops here. I'm sure we have some audience from the same set. Skills can be trained. Have you ever heard you getting into a program where attitude is being trained? Kabhi sune ho? Attitude cannot be trained because that comes from within. Your skill sets can be trained. Today you might not know a technology. Today you don't understand mechanical. Today you don't know the art of dancing. We can try and train you, but you cannot, and nobody can train your attitudes. And which is exactly why I am telling you, this is how you have to map your sequence, starting with right attitude, having the art of listening, talking, networking, skill sets. Will these alone suffice? No. You need to encapsulate these two with two major other skills, your communication. And when I say comm skills, it's not English alone. It can be your Bhaiya Pyas Dalo Hindi, or it can be your mother tongue also. On top of it, you need to have your interpersonal skills, which comes when you start practicing and talking to people. And that's been my time, guys. Thank you for allowing me to talk all this while. Thank you for patiently sitting all this while. Yours, TT. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, guys. Thank you.